Okay, we are almost at the end part of our lecture on cultural dimension, and this is the last dimension added during after 2000 is the indulgence versus restraint. Okay, indulgent, the word itself means, I'm indulgent, I'm relaxing, I'm enjoying my life, and restraint means, I'm very rigid, I'm not too open about anything. So of course this stands for how people, human drives enjoying life and having fun. Restraint would be meaning the same thing. It's the strict social norms, somebody who follows social norms very strictly and they do not indulge themselves into anything. Okay, so if I would give some examples here, it says that, indulgent people, they have a very personal uh, view of life. They are going to the beach, they are going to clubs, they're making friends very easily, and they're eating out and whatnot. Restrained people are following a very strict lifestyle. Restrained people do not, if okay, you get a salary, maybe you are teaching a student, maybe you are doing a part-time job. When you get a salary, what do? Okay, do you just spend it on the best, whatever you have, or do you save it for your future, or do you ask your parents, what am I going to do about it, or do you not do anything? Okay, neither of these are wrong. It is fine for you to decide however way you want to spend your life in. Okay, so it's something that has to do with rules, regulations, and something to do with how people are restrained within that rules and regulations. Okay, um, some countries which are religiously very very strict, you will see that most of the people, they would look very similar in terms of their attire. People who are from the more of an indulgent perspective, these people would be, everybody would be looking different, because they all have their own perspective of fun, they have their own perspective of indulgent, and they would be spending their money as much way as possible. Okay, so these are important, because for you to live in a country which is restrained would have your choices to limit it to something, versus if you live in a country, if you live in an office which is also indulgent, maybe you would have your way of, or their way of living it. So why is it good or bad? I'm not again in a position to say whether it's something good or bad. Rather, it's for you to decide what type of person you are, and then you decide which one is the best fit for you to go and be involved in that organization, be involved in that organization culture, and be the true asset of them. It's sometimes it doesn't fit, sometimes we feel that we are neglected, sometimes we feel that within that organization we being bullied and whatnot. It's actually not that. So all the three other chapters that we have learned in MGT 201, or in other chapters that we, if you're from the other course, it's actually not that. It's maybe because the dimension was different. What you see as indulgent is, to me, would be extremely restrained. To you, if you see that, what is the point of spending so much money on an iPhone 12 Max Pro? And I would have seen that is the only thing you should do with your money that you have, because we are maybe these people are completely different. Okay, and who actually buys this? I don't know. Somebody who's extremely indulgent, somebody who thinks that, maybe my shamis would be buying something like that. This is extremely hot and spicy. But if you see how people sees value of a culture, how people sees the way people would be making, enjoying their lives and not, they would be going with this indulgent and restraint. So if we can, I think we have come the last part where I would wrap up. I'm going to play a video now, and I want you to go through the subtitles where the dialogues are there, and I'm going to stop and explain why this is what it is. Okay, and I'm hoping that there will be no sound. Even if it is, it's fine. I'll make sure that you can understand that. Okay, will it play? Yeah. So it says that two business partners agree to meet for a casual dinner. See, it says casual dinner. The host, an Australian businessman, his name is Mark. He calls Mr. Kawasaki, who's from Japan, and tells him to meet at his house at around 6:30. See, it says around 6:30. So what happens is Mr. Kawasaki, he arrives at 6:30, exactly at 6:30. Why? What is this? So this is something to do with uncertainty avoidance, okay? Because Mark thinks that around 6:30 he would be coming around 7ish or whatever, but Mr. Kawasaki, being from Japan, he is high uncertainty avoidance. He does not go around the rules. He will follow instructions to the T. So he comes exactly at 6:30. See, exactly at 6:30. So this guy came in. I think he's a little boy there. He's asking who's here. The Chinese man. Oh my God, the guy's from Japan, not from China. So, hi, you must be Mr. Kawasaki. Sorry about that. Please come in, Kawasaki. So he couldn't pronounce it. Of course, he cannot. Follow this. So this, you can see it says individualism, collectivism, because, so Mark says hi with his wife, and Mr. Kawasaki says something that I cannot pronounce. And it is individualism because Mr. Kawasaki is high individualistic. He expects that it's me only, so I would be saying or greeting these persons with my own language. I do not care if they understand me or not. So that's what their expression is after, because they do not, like you and me, I cannot even pronounce that. And of course, let's see. So they're very confused. See, they're confused. Somebody else came. Pizza is here. See? This is a classic example of traditional low femininity and high masculinity, where when there's another knock at the door and Mark's wife says, pizza is here, and Kawasaki says, oh, your wife didn't cook tonight. So automatically, he thought it's a casual dinner. At Mark's house, of course, Mark's wife will cook. Of course, she has nothing better to do but cook for me. What does Mark say? So, of course, Mark, being high femininity, low masculinity, he's saying, no, she has been busy work as well. Why would she cook? It's better this way, okay, without the sound, right? So this one is power distance. As an example, it says that, the kid is sitting with the rest of the groups. Kawasaki is high power distance, where he sees chronology and steps to be very strict and separated. He does not see a child or somebody who's at a lower level in position than him should be at the same position. So he is high power distance, and of course Mark is low power distance because he's allowing the kid to eat with them as well. Do you want the sound? Okay, this one, okay, go on. What does it say? So Mark says, haha, so I hear the whaling issue is a little bit of a sore subject for Japan. So what happened is Japan is known to be, consuming a lot of whale teaming, and it's kind of a bad thing, how we see it. Now this one goes as what? Let's watch. This one goes as, this is something that we did not discuss, but please do understand this is something to do with context. Whether should you be saying something within the context, because it's a casual meeting, you need to do business with this guy, and you say something out of context. So those things. Time orientation, and see, Mark is saying, okay, what should we sign the contract? Because he is short-term orientation. And what Kawasaki is saying that no, I mean, let's just do a few more rounds of business and then a few more dinners with this, maybe more pizza at somebody else's house, and see if we can do business then forward. So he's not into orientation. He does not want things to go as it is. Okay, so if we want to wrap up today, I want you to look into this. Okay, I want you to see, maybe go to hofstadtsinsights.com country, and you know what I did? I gave an input of Bangladesh. What you see in front of you is the scores of Bangladesh. Okay, something that's over, that's a point from 0 to 100 index. And you can see that Bangladesh has high scores from power distance, which is obviously the case. You know, we do follow a very centralized, predominating hierarchical situation in most of the organization, where it is very strict hierarchy that we follow. You know, SAR department, department chair and heads, and it's a very strict tall hierarchy that we follow. We are very less individualistic. That means we are more collectivist, which is also true. Yes, we do follow, you know, we go to people's houses, we are very close within our colleagues, and you know, we are more collectivist and less individualistic. Masculinity is of course on the higher side, and yes, you can see the situation, the society or societal norm that follows and sees masculinity as like more of a traditional role that female. But it's good that, you know, it's actually decreasing from last 5 years. Uncertainty avoidance is also high. Yes, we do need very strict information. You will see that people will be parking their cars on the street, and if you ask them, why did you do so? Why have you started a third lane? Why are you coming from the wrong side? It says, oh, I didn't see any instruction. Okay, there's no traffic. Nobody's going to do anything about it. That's why I'm not following the rules. Okay, we are kind of just on the borderline midpoint of long-term orientation, where we do go for tradition, we do go and repeat, we take less risk and rather go for the business that are more of a long-term rather than short term, because it's not too of less of a score like indulgent. Of course, we are less indulgent, maybe because we are more towards the Muslim country, and it also has to do with because we are more suppressed. We know we have more than 200 years of suppression, so we have this kind of a habit of not being overindulgent, and it also has to do with our economy. You know, when you do not have a lot of money, you cannot indulge, right? So on that good note, I think we are at the end. And I want you to please see this lecture not as a lecture, but see this as your way of seeing people. You know, I'm sure that you will be having less fight with your friends. You'll be you'll be more understanding towards your parents, towards your peers, towards people around you, when you see that, you know, it's people are different because they follow, it's not their fault that they're different, and it's also not your fault that you're different than others. You just have you know, different dimensions than others. Okay, thank you, take care, bye bye.